In this video, you are going to learn how to capture and share high-quality sermon audio and video without needing elaborate broadcast equipment or spending hours in post-production. In fact, with the right tools in place, you'll be able to upload a high-quality sermon video to your church's website in minutes. Plus, we're going to show you a website builder for publishing sermons online that provides your congregation with the best user experience. Coming up. My name is Jake with churchfront.com, helping you lead gospel-centered and tech-savvy worship. Before we dive into the video, I wanted to invite you to download our worship ministry toolkit linked below. The toolkit lists our complete guide to gear and software recommendations, including all the gear we are going to mention in this video. So a few weeks ago, our pastor came to me asking, can we host sermon videos on our website on a weekly basis? And now that I think about it, I can't remember if it was a question or a demand. Either way, we were faced with a challenge. How do we upload high-quality sermon videos without adding a bunch of post-production work to our weekly workflow? Well, what you are about to learn in this video is what we came up with to solve this problem. It's not necessarily the cheapest setup, and you can capture sermons in a lot of different ways. But our biggest concern here was both speed and quality. We wanted a workflow that only takes about 10 to 15 minutes of post-production work, and it makes it an enjoyable experience for the congregation to consume these videos online. Ashton is in charge of making this happen on a weekly basis, so I'm going to hand it over to him to show you how it all works.
So let's talk about the gear and software that you're going to need in order to capture your sermon audio and video. Then we'll dive into our routing and workflow, and then finally I'm going to give you an example of the final finished product. For video, the most important piece of gear is a camera. For our setup, we use the PTZ Optics USB camera. It's got a handy remote for controlling pan, tilt, zoom, and recalling preset positions. There are so many different options out there for cameras, but we landed on this one because of its external recording ability and the ease of plugging it into our recording software via USB. And then along with the camera, you'll need a few other things. You need a tripod to mount your camera, and we use the Geek Oto 77-inch tripod. Then the camera also requires external power, so you'll want to make sure it's within reach of a convenient power source, and centralizing it in your tech booth makes it easier to plug into your computers, hard drive, etc. without needing super long cables. We use a standard 1 terabyte solid state drive to store all of our footage. And then for audio capture, we pull audio from the Dante network that we have set up on all of our computers and mixing console. This essentially just allows us to route the sermon audio from our mixer, the Midas M32R, to our computer running our video capture software over an Ethernet cable. If you don't use Dante, you could get a single channel audio interface, route your sermon audio out of a mix bus output on the sound console, and then send it to your video software that way. The computer we use is a 15-inch MacBook Pro. It is the 2018 base model, so it's not the most powerful computer out there, but it is plenty powerful to handle capturing sermon audio and video, and then it also multi-track records our worship gatherings. So that is all the gear that you are going to need for this setup, so let's talk about the software. There are 3 pieces of software that we use in our setup: Wirecast 1, Final Cut Pro, and the Nucleus website builder. Wirecast 1 is a capture and streaming software that's easy to use, and it makes our setup super efficient. You can record video and audio to any external drive, or you can stream to places like YouTube and Facebook if that is your style. We use it simply for the external recording factor. What we like about Wirecast is that it's super easy to use, it's Mac compatible, and as our video and streaming demands increase, we can continue to upgrade the software to enable more advanced features. Final Cut Pro is a video editing software that we use to edit all of our videos, including what you watch on this channel. But after the service service, I spend just a couple minutes trimming the beginning and end of the sermon, and then I just process the audio to ensure that it sounds loud and consistent. And then finally after that, after some super minimal editing, the sermon is ready to upload to the Nucleus website builder. It's got a powerful sermon engine that makes publishing a breeze, and the user interface is super easy to use for our congregation. That is all the gear and software that we use to make this setup possible. So let's dive deep into exactly how to set this up. So first, you plug everything in. You plug the PTZ optics camera into the computer with the USB cable. You'll also need to plug the camera into a power source. Then you plug the Ethernet cable for your Dante audio networking into the laptop. And that's it for the hardware setup. Next, open up the Wirecast app. At the bottom of the app is where you select your video and audio sources. So first, add your video source and select the PTZ optics camera. Next, add your audio source. In our case, we use the Dante virtual sound card. We know that the sermon microphone is coming in on channel 11, so we will enable that single channel to come in as stereo. We also added a 0.3 second delay so that our audio syncs perfectly with our video. On the top of the Wirecast app, you're gonna see the preview and live monitors. Make sure that you press the Go Live button so the audio and video feeds are sent to live monitor, and that is what is going to be recorded or streamed. The next step is to set the record destination. In our case, we save everything to that 1 terabyte solid state drive, and then we title the file by the date. Then when the service starts, you press record and you let it run all the way through the service. At least that's what we do because we like recording the music as well. And then at the end of the service, you just stop the recording and the file will be saved to your external hard drive. After the service, it is time for some post-production work with Final Cut. Create a new library and project, import the footage of the service, and then edit the video to your desired length. In our case, we just trimmed the beginning and end before and after the sermon. It also may be a good idea to apply some processing to the audio so that it's loud enough and sounds consistent all the way through. Finally, when the project is done, you can export both a video version and audio version to your hard drive, and it will be ready for upload. You can export directly from Final Cut Pro, or you could use the companion app Compressor. Then this is where the final piece of software comes in, Nucleus. This church website builder made by our friend Brady Shear is the gem of our sermon capture and upload process. The software uses a card-based system to link pages and keep everything looking super elegant and clean. And then its built-in sermon engine is extremely powerful. So this is what the engine looks like to the public. It's pretty nifty. Banner images, the option for audio and video, and then a collection of playlists that we personally use for each sermon series. It may look a little bit complicated, but on the back end, it's super easy. You simply click add new media item, and then you fill out the form with a title, description, and then if you have any artwork you want to upload with it, then you want to do that in these boxes. You'll upload the audio directly to the Nucleus sermon engine, and it will function as your podcast feed host. You'll want to upload your sermon video to YouTube or Vimeo and grab an embed link. And then you just paste that embed link in the video box. Then you'll just want to double check that everything looks good. Scroll down to the bottom, press save, and voila! Your sermon is uploaded with both a video and an audio format. Then you can add this media item to a playlist with the click of a couple buttons. Then Nucleus does everything else. It automatically arranges the engine on the public side of things so that the newest item appears as a banner. Every item is in an archived list by date below that most recent item, and then playlists show up at the bottom for access to specific sermon series. This may seem like a daunting process, but at its core, it's a relatively simple and highly efficient process. Both sermon audio and video can be uploaded by the time we pack up all of our equipment and leave the school on Sunday. This whole process then leads to this final product.
So Megan and I, my wife's name is Megan, and Megan and I were married June 23rd of 2007. And I had to tell you, I was the perfect husband. That was perfect.
For our context, what really matters most to us is timing and efficiency. Without sacrificing quality of our video or audio, we are also not putting on some crazy multicam production because that is currently just not one of our priorities. The widescreen we use in our stage design makes it so we don't really need to overlay any presentation software, since it's easy for the viewer to follow along with this one camera angle. If you want to capture and upload your sermon, and especially if you have a time restraint, then this process works extremely well. If you guys have any questions at all about our setup in this video, please leave a comment below. And also, if you guys have a system already in place for sermon capture, let us know as well. We love learning from you guys, and it is super helpful to other people who are looking for other viable options. For a complete list of all the gear and all the software that we use in our setup, click the link below and download our worship ministry toolkit. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you liked it, leave a like down below and share it with your friends in worship ministry. You can check out more related content right over there, and do not forget to subscribe so you never miss any of our latest content to help you grow yourself and grow your worship ministry.